Baby, you better come on through and get ready for tonight's broadcast because we are doing the We Shine Media Spotlight. And every time I do a spotlight, you already know it's somebody amazing, somebody phenomenal, somebody that you may or may not know. You never know who's going to pop in and get on here with me. But what you need to know is that it's somebody who is out here, honey, a mover and a shaker. She's doing her thing. She's making an impact. She's an influencer. She's somebody that you need to get to know. And y'all know I'm partial to authors, but even beyond that, she's just doing great things in the community, in her area. So I want to wait for people. Come on in, come on in. Let me tag a few people and let y'all know that we are here tonight on the broadcast. I was getting ready to do that and I laughed because when I'm on the Empowered Morning Show, we got a long little, thing where we got time to be sharing the broadcast. Baby, this one was so quick. I was like, oh, I'm already on the camera. Let me come over here and say hello. So, welcome to the We Shine Media Spotlight. And I'm super excited because I have, just a gorgeous individual getting ready to come on here. I wanted to just share this out a little bit so that more people can come on and tune in because I don't want y'all to miss out. This is Women's History Month, right? So we celebrated Black History in February and then Women's History in March. And so it's only fitting to have a fabulous, phenomenal, and amazing woman to be on here tonight. So what I'm going to do is read her bio and then I'm going to bring her on because I have none other than the Dr. Nycorya S. Wilson, baby. Listen, she's a native of Gallatin, Tennessee. She's a dedicated healthcare professional with over 2 decades of experience. She was educated in the Sumner County school system. She holds a doctorate in ministry from Emmanuel Bible College, a master's in ministry, and a bachelor of science in biblical studies. So when we get to talking, you already know that she is educated. She is, honey, committed and dedicated to studying the word and making sure that she shares it out, right? So that we all can get empowered and influenced and inspired by the word of God. Now, Dr. Wilson is a certified mental health coach and is currently expanding her expertise by pursuing life coaching certification. She resides in the Nashville, Tennessee area, and she is the wife of Pastor Ashley Wilson. She's a mother of 6, a grandmother of 9, and she's known for her love of reading, writing, and creativity. She draws inspiration from her favorite scripture, which is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I love that because it's all things, not something here or there, all things. And with her guiding principle, be authentically who God created you to be. Dr. Wilson brings a passion for empowering women to achieve their fullest potential. Y'all help me welcome to the virtual stage, Dr. Nycorya S. Wilson.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you? How are you?
Honey, fantastic, fabulous, and amazing. Super excited to have you here to shine the spotlight because we talk about so many things that we put spotlights on. But
Right.
I love the fact that this is Women's History Month. I love that you are an author, that you deal with mental health illnesses, that you are really inspirational, supporting your husband, but also stepping out, giving word to people in the community and in the congregation as well. So I read your bio, but reading the bio is not the same as actually, hearing it from the horse's mouth as they
Yeah.
say.
I was like, who's she talking about? She sounds amazing, though.
I should have had the music play. She's a bad mama jingle, baby, so they know for sure who they're dealing with. But I want you to share a little bit about who you are to people
Okay.
so they know outside of that bio.
Okay. So, as she stated, my name is Dr. Nycorya Wilson. I live in the Nashville area. Um, Man, it's so many different things that I can say. I will say that I am a mom. I'm a grandmother, although people don't believe me. um, I'm a writer. I'm an author. I'm a creator. Um, I'm passionate about helping women, empowering women. I'm passionate about doing what it is that God is calling me to do. So that's just snippet about me.
Just a little tinge, you know
Just
what I'm
a little
saying? Just
taste.
a little sprinkle on there so y'all can
Yeah.
kind of get a
Give
little
them a little bit
something
and then you take it back.
back. Bring it on back. That's what's up. So listen, when we talk about empowering women, what does that look like for you? What does that mean to you?
To me, that looks like pouring into them, giving them positivity, not the negativity. I mean, when I say positivity, I mean actually giving them positive feedback, whether it's in personal life, whether it's in marriage, whether it's in their career, whatever it looks like, whether it's with their children. That's just pouring into them authentically, being genuine. You know how sometimes
Mm,
we're not genuine. We tend to be genuine, but we're
right.
really not. We talk a good talk, but at the end of the day, once we're out of that person's presence, we're not really being real. We're not giving them the real talk, basically. But to me, it's just pouring into them and just giving them all the positivity and really just loving on them.
Mm, I love that because, I think so many times people see women as being catty, as being
Right,
competitive, as
right.
being jealous, as being envious, as you can't get along. It's so many things that people see when they talk about other women.
Right.
And to be an empowered woman, it breeds you want to empower other women, but you want to see them win, you want to see them successful, you want to see them healed, you want to see them authentic, you want to
Absolutely.
see them in a better place. And so let's start with the, although not your first book, but what's been recently released. I want to go
Okay.
back to uncovering what's behind the mask.
Okay.
What made you decide to jump into that arena to talk about what people are covering up?
So I'm going to give you the whole story. I'm going to start at the very beginning. So I have been, I'll say, I've been writing, dipping and dabbling in writing my whole entire life. I probably
Mhm.
started writing when I was in the seventh or eighth grade.
Wow.
Um, and I can remember writing poetry. And I remember putting it in a little blue folder. And I would show it to my mom. I'm like, Mom, I wrote this poem, and I was so excited about writing. But you know how sometimes you do a little bit here and then you stop because well, maybe it's not good enough, or who really wants to read what I have to say. So I kind of put it down for several years, but I would pick it up here or there. But it was more or less just like the poetry. But how this book was birthed was, I was actually, just transparent, I was in the shower. And as I was standing in the shower, I heard, just like I'm talking to you, I literally heard as clear as day the voice of God tell me that I was going to write a book. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm tripping. I didn't just hear that. So I just, keep on doing the do, whatever. And I heard it. You're going to write a book. Not only did God share with me that I was going to write a book, He gave me the title of the book. He gave me the first 6 chapters of the book, as well as the first paragraph of the first chapter of my book. So immediately I jumped out of the shower. I didn't even finish showering. I jumped out of the shower, threw on a towel, got out of my shower, went to my bedside, where my phone was, picked up my phone, went to the notes section in my phone. And immediately I put the date, the time, and I started typing exactly what I was hearing. And by the
Mm,
time I was finished, I had the first 6 chapters of my book, the titles of each chapter, as
wow.
well as the first paragraph of the book. And so I was blown away. Like, I was messed up the whole entire day. And so later on that evening, it had bothered me just all day long. It had bothered me all day long. And I'm like, hey, Ashley, my husband is Ashley. I'm like, I have to tell you what happened to me. You're not gonna believe this. So I shared with him what had happened while I was, getting ready. And at the moment when I was getting this download from God, because that's exactly what it was a download from God. He was sitting in the other room working on a sermon. My husband is a pastor as well.
Uh-huh.
So he was sitting in there working on a sermon. And as I'm telling him that the Lord had told me that I was going to write this book, in the sermon that he was preparing, it said in the sermon, it's clear as day, someone is going to birth a book. He didn't know that someone was me. So
Ooh.
you can't tell me that God doesn't speak. And we have to listen when he speaks. And we have to move when he says to move. So at that very moment, I started working on the book. So that is where I came up with the title, Uncovering What's Behind the Mask. And what did that mean to me? For years, I covered up just different things in my life that I was going through. Um, Whatever it was. What's the mask? The mask is anything that you're covering up in your life, whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, whether it's insecurity, whether it's fear, whatever it is, that's what the mask is. And so at that point, since God had given me that first 6 chapters, I started there. And I didn't start in any particular order. I wrote a little bit in this chapter, a little bit in that chapter, a little bit in this chapter. As it came to me, as it was downloaded into me, I put it on paper. If I woke up in the middle of the night, I wrote. If I was at work and I had a break, I was writing. So that's how it came about.
You know, the power in what you just said. Number one, people tend to go to the shower to sing, and you know what I'm saying? They they do all this in the shower, right? They just in
Mhm.
there singing and doing all that. But
Right, right,
your shower experience came with God speaking to you and downloading something to you. And you didn't just sit there and say, whatever, and blow it off. You said, you know, get out the shower and I'm going to write what God gave me. Not only that, you took the time to go and confirm it with your husband, who turns around and says, I'm writing my sermon. And God says, there's a book in somebody, not even knowing that
that
both
it
of
was
you
me.
had an experience with God revealing something, and it was about the same thing.
Yep, yep, and that's exactly how it happened, and immediately I just started bawling because I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is powerful." Like, and I wanted people to really, really feel how powerful it was. That's why in my book, I think, well, I wrote that in the book. I put the date and the time that it
Mm-hmm,
occurred because
mm-hmm.
I wanted people to know that this is exactly what happened. This is exactly how it happened.
Listen, people should really understand that God can give you whatever you need to have at any place.
At
It
any
doesn't mean that sometimes, we feel like we got to be sitting down and, meditating and journaling, but sometimes God drops things in your spirit. So be ye ready. You should be ready at all times. Like you said, I went and got my phone and I immediately started typing what he gave me. And he gave it to you like, boom, here you go. And
right.
I think that's so powerful because what you're talking about is uncovering what's behind the mask. Well, let's just keep it real. We have a plethora of masks that we wear.
Every
We
day.
wear masks for work, masks in
Every
front
day.
of family, masks in front of friends, masks with our kids, masks with our significant others. Sometimes we have the audacity to wear a mask for ourselves. Let's
We
just keep
do.
it real. You look in the
Okay.
mirror.
That's true. That is so, so true. We I think sometimes it's because if we take the mask off, we're afraid of what we might see.
Mm,
Or we're afraid what other people might see if we
yeah.
take that mask off. That's why
Yeah.
I always say be authentically who God created you to be. Because you can only be who he called you to be, who he created you to be, and you can only do what it is that he put you here to do.
Mm. It's the tapping in to who God created you to be.
Right.
Tapping in and understanding that when the Bible says that we're fearfully and wonderfully made, that's something that we need to embrace and understand that there's nobody else like you. So why try and be like other people? Why cover up what he's created, the masterpiece that he's designed you to be? Just because you feel like it may be some things about you that you don't like.
Right.
Or maybe the mask is covering up something that you experienced years ago that you've never healed from because you
Exactly.
didn't take the time to reveal it to somebody. Because I'm a firm believer that you can't heal from what you don't reveal.
That's
When
it.
you bury it, you're just covering it up. And it's the same way, like, if you had a sore on your arm and you kept it covered and you never looked at it, you don't know if it's getting infected up underneath there. You don't know
Right.
if they're going to have to amputate your arm because you let it go on too long. If you never look at it, you don't know what the status or the state of it can be.
Right.
So as long as we stay covered, we'll never get
Well,
to the
yes.
beauty that God has given us.
Right. We will never heal completely unless we deal with it. Um, and that is why the book was so powerful for me. It allowed me to be vulnerable in places that I really didn't want to be, but I had to be because that's what God told me to do. Because I feel like my story, my testimony is meant to help some other woman. People will look at me and say, well, she could never gone through through anything,
Mhm.
she's just a cute, she's a cute girl and she couldn't have gone through anything. But you don't know my story. You don't know what it took in order for me to even get on here. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You see my highlight reel, but you don't know what went on behind the scenes.
Ooh, just being able to say that, I'm gonna go back a little bit in the conversation because you talked about vulnerability.
Yes.
That is when you uncover what's behind the mask, it is allowing yourself to be vulnerable
Right.
to people that may never have suspected of what you went through. You know
Yeah.
how somebody, I was listening to somebody the other day, and a friend of mine was talking about, having some insecurities, and they were just like, "What? I know you're not you. I know you've never been insecure." Well, in reality, this person was like, been
Mm,
there, done that, got the T-shirt, child, bought the all, bought the whole outfit with it. People don't know what you go through, and they mistakenly think when they see you well put together that your life has been, peaches and cream, boxes of
yep.
chocolate, what I'm saying, all these great things, when in reality some people went through some difficult things. They've had to
Absolutely.
overcome challenges. They have had to overcome setbacks and rejection. They're dealing with anxiety and worry and financial challenges or health challenges. I mean, it's a wide range of things that people have to deal with.
Absolutely.
And God's no respecter of person. So that doesn't mean that because you love the Lord that you can escape having some of these things that other people deal with too.
Right. We're not exempt.
We're
We're not
not
exempt.
exempt.
We are not exempt. And that is the misconception. People feel like, oh, you're exempt because you're in this position or this position, but God doesn't
Mhm.
look at position.
Mm.
God doesn't look at position. God doesn't look at title. He doesn't look at any of those things. So we are not exempt from going through the difficulties of life. Um, and that is the main thing that I deal with in my book. And it's something that you said. What did you said something about it'll come back to me in a minute. But about being, I want to go back to even doing this today. Like
Mhm.
years ago, y'all wouldn't have been able to get me on camera. I have always been that person who was comfortable behind the camera and
Mhm.
not ever being seen at all. I mean, this is 2025. I would say in 2019, no ma'am, absolutely not.
Wow.
Absolutely not. But I had this, honestly, I just had like a aha moment. It's like when I hit
Mm.
around 40, when I hit 40, 41, like all this stuff just happened. It's like a light just flashed. It just went off and it was like, okay, yeah, you're about to go on an adventure and just put your seatbelt on, do all the things and be ready. Um, it was at that point that I ended up going to seminary school and
Mm.
just really tapping into what it was that God was calling me to do.
I think, it's so hard for people to pursue the path that God has for them.
It
You
is.
know, you a lot of times, just like even thinking about going to seminary, sometimes people don't feel like they're worthy. Like God, because I think about Moses in the Bible, like, why you want to use me? I'm
Not
stuttering and
me.
can't get my
Yeah.
thing. I
I can't
barely
even
can.
Moses said he did not speak with eloquent words.
Yes.
Yeah,
Moses said, look, but you want me to be the one to go and talk to Pharaoh to let the people go. What am I going to say? And
exactly.
it's the thing about it that we get so caught up in our abilities,
Hmm.
not recognizing and realizing that. when God puts his super on our natural, everything can change. Like you
Everything.
said in your favorite verse, that in all things through
I
Christ who
can do
strengthens
all
me.
things.
Not
Yeah,
just a little bit here and there, not a sprinkle over here, or maybe not, once every decade, or what I'm saying, once in a lifetime. God will give you the strength to do what you need to do. You just have to trust him and believe that it's in all things. And when you do that, when you recognize that it's not even really about you, he's
it's
going to come in and put on you whatever it is you need to get his glory,
absolutely.
to give it to him. And so I think we get caught up in society. We get caught up in thinking that, we are doing so much to tap dance and please everybody else, that you forget you're somebody special.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you come from behind the mask. So let's talk about the mask. Let's talk about, because you mentioned anxiety, you mentioned, a couple other things. What are some masks that people are hiding behind to get free? I listened to Reverend Pat earlier today, and she was talking about, baby, it's time to be bold. It's time to be
Okay.
bold. We got to be bold in 2025, because God didn't give us a spirit of fear.
He
So
did not. He
it's
did
time
not.
to come from behind the mask. But what kind of mask are we hiding behind?
I would say, the main mask that we hide behind now is the judgment of other people,
Come on
other,
now.
other people's judgment. We're afraid of what other people are going to say. So
Uh-huh.
because we're afraid how other people are going to view us, we tend to take a step back.
Yes.
We cower down,
Uh-huh.
hide who we really are, because it's the fear of judgment. I would say fear of judgment is huge. To me, that's a
Oh,
huge one, just that fear of judgment. I would
yeah.
say another one that we hide behind is the fear of shame.
Oh,
Past
come on now.
mistakes. We feel like our past mistakes disqualifies us from God's goodness, God's mercy, God's
Yeah.
grace, but it does not. It does not. We are not defined by our past. We are not defined by our past. They do not make us. If anything, they should propel us, right? So that's something else that we hide behind. Um,
Uh-huh.
that's just a huge one. I can say for me personally, and I do talk about that in the book, how I felt a lot of shame. I felt a lot of it. And part of it was it was being a teenage mom. I
Yeah.
was a mom early in life. I had my first son when I was 18, pregnant when I was 17, had him when I was 18, graduated from high school, but all at the same time, by the age of 21, I had three children. By the age of 21 years old, I had three
Mm.
kids. So, there's a lot of shame that goes along with that. You
Uh-huh.
feel you're unworthy. You're not ever going to be anything other than what people have called you or said that you're going
Right.
to be,
Right.
you know? So I will say that you feel like that stuff, the stuff of your past disqualifies you, but it really doesn't. But you know how God is. God does not call the qualified. He does not call those who feel that they're qualified. He calls those
Right.
who feel they're disqualified. Right. So,
Right.
I was the person who said, why me? I know God can't be calling me. Why me? But then he said, why not you? I need somebody just like you to talk to women who have been through the same thing that you have been through, or they're about to go through.
Uh-huh. And give you that spirit of confidence to understand that God can use
Anybody.
anybody. Anybody. And the thing about it is, we get so caught up in the judgment of other people, because people tend to think that you're supposed to be a certain way, or you're supposed to do it a certain way, or you're supposed to look like this or sound like that. And at the end of the day, God ain't caring about none of that, because He already created you, He already designed you, He already
Absolutely.
positioned you. But we're so caught up in being overwhelmed because somebody said, "Oh, girl, she don't live on the right side of the tracks. Oh, she had a baby, so count her out."
Count
Like
her out.
as if having a child at an early age doesn't stop your intelligence. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
stop your
It does not.
drive. It doesn't stop your passion. Doesn't
It,
stop your purpose. If anything, maybe God gave you that child at an early age because He knew that had he let you wait later on, you may would have just let it go on by the wayside because you would have felt like I'm too old to do this now, or I
Off the
can't.
road.
It gives you a certain something, whatever it is that God wanted you to have. All of us have something. You may think that, oh girl, yeah, no, honey, I didn't have kids at that age, but it's something about you. It's something about your life. It's something about your mask that you have on that you're hiding behind. So as we're pointing fingers and being judgmental towards one person, you gotta look at your own self because nobody's out here being patty perfect.
Okay. And that was another thing that we hide behind is perfection.
Oh, for sure.
We hide behind the need to want to seem perfect in everybody else's eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But no, there is nobody that is perfect. We have to realize that we don't have to be perfect. That God is not calling us to perfection. He just wants us to be who he called us to be, not perfect. So,
Because what looks like perfection to humans, God is not even seeing that as it makes a difference.
right.
So we're measuring ourselves against the wrong stick. I know
Ah,
a
that's
friend of
good.
mine,
I like that. I like that.
we have to kind of take our time because you just think about if you're trying to climb a ladder, you may get to the top of the ladder, but if it's leaning against the wrong house, what have you really done? You got
Hmm.
to be able to measure yourself with what's really important, and what God says is what's going to last. And so I
Right.
was talking to a friend of mine over the weekend. We were talking about people in your life, and the people that you do flips for and do all these things for, and they don't care, they just
At all.
want what they can get from you. So when you start thinking, are they adding value to my life? Should I, what I'm saying? Because sometimes it may become necessary that you have to cut people off.
Yeah.
But think about that. Are they adding value to your life? Are they still serving you in some capacity? Are they helping you get to where God has told you that you're supposed to go? And if
Mm-mm.
they're not, then are they really part of your plan? Are they really part of the pathway you've got to go to get to what God has for you? And if they're not,
You have to
then
cut
maybe
them off.
we need to take a step back.
Yeah, you have to cut them off. And something that I've realized, and it's painful sometimes, is that
Hmm.
everybody is not meant to go to every level with you.
Right, right.
Only certain people can go with you certain places because everybody is just not meant to go. It just, and you mentioned Moses earlier. It's just like when Moses went to the top of the mountain. He took Aaron and her. Everybody else was at the bottom of it was at the bottom. Only certain people are meant to hold your arms up.
Mm, come on. And sometimes we put the wrong people in the wrong assignment.
Ah, you better say that. Yes.
And we think they're the best one for the job, but in reality, i'm I'm telling you, oh, you're the one that's supposed to be holding my hand up to help me do and execute what God said. And God is looking at me like, child, they will fold, just like when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane praying, and he was telling them, and their flesh, their spirit was willing, but their flesh was
Was
weak.
weak.
And as
Mhm.
he was praying, they were over there asleep. You
Right.
got to know who you have in your corner and what their
Yes.
capabilities are,
Yes.
because just because you want them there doesn't mean they're meant to help you complete that assignment.
That's it. That's it. I know one of our mentors said that if you're the strongest person in the group, it's time to get another group because you want to be around people that's going to help to stretch you. It's
Yeah.
going to help to lead you into your next purpose.
This is the thing I'm thinking about because, again, this is Women's History Month. And so we want to, celebrate women who are out here making moves and who are
Absolutely.
out here being their authentic self, and we're talking about Nycorya's book, Uncovering What's Behind the Mask. So I put it in the chat, but this is the link, if y'all want to go, just go in the chat and click on it to purchase it on Amazon. But a really good book talking about different masks that we wear that keep us from being who we're supposed to be in life, whether it's the mask of anxiety, the mask of uh, perfection, the mask of fear. We have the mask of judgment. We have so many things that, we can't come from behind, or we play small, or we dumb ourselves down
Right.
because you want to be accepted by people
Other people.
who really could care less.
Right.
They act like they care, but in when it comes down to it, will they really be there? Will they
Right.
really show up for you? Will they really help you get to your next level without expecting anything in return?
Right.
This is the time to start really thinking about, because as the world turns, as we're looking at every single day,
Right.
there's something going on as we look at what's unfolding, even with, the current political state, the current state of our world. As we look at that, it's going to require us to come from behind the mask and show up and be real, because now you don't have time to be fake. You don't
Don't.
have time to be pretending. You don't have time to, go out here and try to make other people think that you living this rosy, perfect life and all of that, when that's not the case.
That's not it.
This is the time to get your, what they say, intestinal fortitude together, and
Mhm.
know that it may be some difficult
Some tough
times,
days. Yeah, some tough days.
some tough days. But with that being said, when you trust and believe in God, your tough days aren't the same as other people's tough days, because
Right.
He already worked it out. Will you have to go through? Yes. But at the same time, will you have to stay there? No, you don't.
Right. That's good. That's real good.
I love that you wrote the book, because it is giving people an opportunity to look at places in their lives that they've been, and how they are showing up now, and how they can get beyond that.
Yeah, so that's good you said that, because then that leads to the last four chapters of the book. That leads to the last four chapters of the book. Now, remember when I started, I said that God only gave me six chapters of this
Right,
book.
right, right.
He only gave me six chapters, and I was like, okay, now what am I gonna do? I know, but here's the thing: I knew it had to be 10. Don't ask me
Mm,
why it had to be 10. He just said it was gonna be 10, so I had to
mhm.
wait on the other four chapters to download.
Wow.
I had to wait. So honestly, I didn't get the name of those last four chapters for about a year,
Wow.
maybe about a year. And so I talk about the call, meaning my call into ministry. I talk about transformation, meaning how my life was transformed. Confidence, because I told you I never want to be out front.
Uh-huh.
And then my testimony, I give like a little brief testimony, because there's
Yeah.
so much more. Obviously, I could never get it all in the pages of a book, but
Right, right.
but yeah. So I would say that if they have not read the book, they definitely need to read the book. I have had so many women so far come up to me and just say thank you, or shoot me a text message and say thank you. I've had people pull me over inside a church and say, "Oh, I thought I was reading this book about myself." So that is
Mm,
exactly what I wanted. If I could touch one person's life, I've done my job. I've done
yeah.
what it is that I was supposed to do. But my goal, obviously, is to touch multiple women, because we want women to know that they are strong, that they are bold, that they don't have to continue to hide, that they can be exactly who God called them to be. So, yeah, that's that book. And then what happened? I have a second book.
Coming on the heels of that one is the next one. But I love that, the setup, because once you come behind the mask, now you can fall at the feet of God and get inspiration, and do a devotion
Yeah,
to really strengthen up that person. Because when you think about when people are sick and they go to the hospital, and maybe they had something or whatever, and that happened to them. When you first come out of surgery, or you come from an illness, a lot of times you're weak, right?
right.
They send you home, but you still are in
It's
a
still weak.
recovery period.
Hmm.
The, in the 60-day devotional, tell them about that, because that is something that will strengthen you once you come to the through the healing process. And I'm gonna say sparkles come in. Women, you do not have to be ashamed about anything. And
At
I
all.
love that.
I love that.
Period.
That's good. That's good.
That's good.
That's
Absolutely.
good. I would say so many, but I like what she said, but so many of us are ashamed. We live our life
Mhm.
and just being ashamed of everything. I
Of
think I mentioned,
everything.
I think I mentioned in my book that it was so bad for me that I did not wear shorts until I was I stopped wearing shorts when I was in my 20s and did not put on a pair of shorts until I was 40 because I was always told I had big thighs.
Mhm.
That's a part of shame. That is, I mean, to me, it sounds silly, but it's a
Mhm.
part of shame, right? So I like that. I like that.
Yes, because I'm telling you, there is nothing that if somebody in their life has done something. So
Hmm.
yes, your story may not be their story, but they have their own story of whatever they're
Right.
going through. So we got to be, as women, not so quick to point out each other's shortcomings or failures or flaws or whatever that looks like. Because just as much as you were thinking, okay, I got thick thighs, so you know I better not wear these shorts. It's somebody else out there that's like boom,
All
bam, baby.
right.
You care less
At all.
about thick thighs, and thighs might have been 2 times thicker than yours, and they still do not care. It's the confidence in them. But on the flip side of that, they may look confident and they may not mind wearing something revealing, but they have other
They
insecurities.
got
They have
other
other things
issues.
that they're ashamed of. So
Right.
we have to give each other grace while you give your own self grace. But let's jump into the devotional because I'm telling y'all, this right here, honey, was she did an excellent job at this. So talk about the devotional.
So the devotional, right after the book, actually, I started working on a devotional in the middle of working on the book, working on uncovering what's. I told you there's no rhyme or reason to to how I get stuff, but I knew that I wanted to do a devotional, just because I feel like it's important. Whatever your devotion time is, some people's devotion time is early morning, some's in the afternoon, some's at late at night. But whatever time you spend that time just with you and God, I felt it was necessary to do a 60-day devotional.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 60 days. I don't know why it was 60 days. Telling you, God tells me to do this stuff and I just listen.
Right.
So, but he said you got to do a 60-day devotional, and I'm okay, we're going to do a 60-day devotional. So came up with the devotional. Each day has a different title. It's roughly about a page and a half to maybe 2 pages that you just read it every day, and that is just like your time to spend with God. And I feel like that is just so important to have that daily connection with God, because how else will we be able to make it through all the things that's going on in life if we don't spend that time with him? How else will we get
Mm-hmm.
downloads, and how will we know how to recognize his voice if we're not
Mm-hmm.
spending time with him? It's like any other relationship that you're in. Like like my husband, if I don't spend time with him, how will I know what it is that he needs or his wants? Or how can we build our relationship if I'm not spending time with him? Same thing with God. How can you recognize your father's voice if you're not spending time with him? So that is where the devotional came from.
And you know what? I love that analogy because you just think when you are um, freshly in love with somebody, you know, you want to spend that time with them. You want
Mhm.
to get to know them. You know,
Right.
y'all can be on the phone all night and fall asleep because you don't want to hang up. You hang up now. I don't want to hang up. You hang up now. I ain't gonna
Right.
hang up. We
Right.
still trying
Right.
to talk, and you both of y'all sleeping. You say, "You still there? Yeah, I'm still here." But you know, you done dozed off.
Sleep.
You would, girl, knocked out. But you want to maintain that connection. Same
Right.
thing for God. Invest that time because the more time you spend with him, the more you want to have a connection with him. So that when he downloads something to you in the shower, you know, let me get this
You know,
right
without a shadow
today.
of a doubt, that's him.
That's his voice that's telling you something. That's his voice is telling you, you know what? Maybe I don't need to go to the grocery store right now. I need to wait and find out something happened. Or you know what? Let me
Mhm.
go a different way this time and find out that, you know, it was an accident on the interstate. Whatever that looks like, the discernment, the being able to hear his voice, to know that it's him speaking. Because trust and believe, we have inner voices sometimes that work against
They
what
do.
God is saying. You know, that's why he said you got to pull every thought down captive because the enemy wants to steal, kill, and destroy. The enemy wants to take the greatness and the goodness that God has deposited inside of you. So you've got to be mindful. And I love that you said 60 days. It wasn't 7 days or 21 days or 30 days. This one in particular is 60 because it's something about spending that time consecutively to
Mhm.
where even when you think you've built a habit, push a little further.
Push it.
push a little harder.
And even don't, I mean, even if you read through it in 60 days, you can turn around and read it again.
Exactly.
Start
And
over.
refresh. Because it is really characteristics of God that you are tapping into, that people
Right.
need to know about. And Sparkle said, in relationships, when you stop spending time together, that's when the foolishness comes in.
You better say that, Sparkle. That's when the foolishness come in. You
That's when the
absolutely right.
foolishness comes in. Because
You
as
better
long
keep
as
the
you
relationship fresh.
you better keep it fresh and you better keep it consistent. The thing
Yes,
about communication, when you have it, it allows you to build such a tight bond. Nothing can separate that because you
right.
start becoming on one accord. You start becoming unified. Sparkle said that's no different when you stop spending time with God. Foolishness kicks in
Yes,
for
that's
sure.
that's
That's
for
when you start getting enticed by the world's view of things. That's when
sure.
you start getting
Yeah,
comfortable
that's
with
when
seeing
the
things.
sin. I was gonna say
Mhm.
that's when sin steps in because what does sin do? Sin comes in to what? Separate.
Yes.
It comes in to separate. So you never want to allow that to take place. So by reading this devotional every single day, you don't leave a lot of room for little things to creep in.
Come on, because it can be the little things. People always think it's something big.
No, it's the little.
Sometimes the little things are the ones that will keep on and keep on and keep on. And before you know it, you don't even recognize yourself anymore. You don't even recognize them anymore. You're looking at them like, when did you start doing that?
Right.
You
Right.
weren't paying attention and you allowed the distance to come in. And so being able to have this devotional, I think, was just a really powerful thing. Like I said, get both, get the companion, because I feel like they go hand in hand. As you start talking about uncovering what's behind the mask, when you heal, spend that time 60 days right behind that so that you can get so connected with God that you never go back to
Right.
putting the mask on
Putting the
again.
mask on again. Yeah. And it's funny you said that because I'm working on a part. I'm going to be working on a part two.
Come on, part two.
I'm going to be working on a part two. So,
But
yeah.
you know what? Don't stop. God is putting something in you to
Yeah.
have the heart to see people win and do better and accept and embrace who they are.
Yeah.
And as we start getting closer to the things that are happening in the world, as you start looking at, they always say, "Oh, this word is getting closer and closer," to when God gonna come, when Jesus is coming back. It prepares you
Absolutely.
to be raw. It prepares you to be vulnerable. It prepares you to know that I can't rely on my own strength. Because to me, when you put a mask on, it's like you feel like you putting on like Wonder Woman or
Right.
Superman or whomever. It's like you feel like you putting a cape on, nothing, you're invincible because nobody sees the real you. But
Right.
when you remove that and you strip yourself down and it's just you and God, then you only have Him to rely on.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I like that. That's real good. I
So
like
tell me about what you got going on coming up here in April.
So in April, what I have going on, I am doing a women's empowerment brunch. It is called The Power Behind the Mask.
Mm,
it's
come
called the
on.
power. It's called the power behind the mask, and I have three dynamic speakers. All right, Sparkle. Thank you. I'm receiving that. I am receiving that. But it's called the power behind the mask. Um,
Mhm.
it is at the Chapman Room, right in Joelton, in Tennessee. Not it's right outside of Nashville, not very far. Right, literally just right outside of Nashville.
Mhm.
But I have three dynamic speakers. Ambi Shantae is one of them. Delisa Voorhees is the other one, and Dr. Althea Kimball is the third. Um,
Okay.
and so we will kind of delve into some of the things in the book. So one will be talking about fear, one will be talking about insecurity, and one will also be talking about being vulnerable. Um,
Oh,
so it will be like a full about 2.5, 3 hour event going on. A meal will will be served, and we'll have some activities in between. It's going to be awesome. So if you have not, if you have not
For that
purchased,
plug.
yes, if you have not purchased your ticket, you still have about 2.5, 3 weeks to purchase your ticket. Ticket sales will close the week before the event to allow me to continue to be completely prepared for the amount of people that I have coming.
Okay.
But yes, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. You I promise you've not seen some things that's gonna occur before. I
Okay.
can't, I can't, I can't give it away, but I can't give it away.
I can't tell you in advance. You got to show up
You
so
gotta
you can
show
get
up.
it. Yes, you
You
got to
gotta
be
show
there.
up and get it. You gotta
It's
show up
like
and get it.
what they said, just like lottery, you got to be in it to win it. You got
You
to
gotta
show
be
up
in
to
it.
get
You
it.
got to be in it to win it. Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I love
So,
it.
so not only the event, I am working on a few other books. You know, I work on multiple books at one time. So so I do have like a few other books coming up as well. Yeah, and then something a little special later on in the year.
Okay, all right. Listen, I already told y'all in the beginning, this is the woman that you need to be connected to. You need to make sure you follow her and see what's going on. If you're in the Nashville, Tennessee area, make sure you reach out and connect because this is the year where we should be collaborating. This is the year where we should be connecting with people
Yes,
who push us to our next level of
yes,
greatness.
yes,
We can't sit back on what we used to do. This has to be fresh. This has to be new. This has to be bold. This has to be what God is telling you now to step into. And He's giving you resources, people with, ideas and things that can help you, just like coming from behind the mask. Attend the event because there's power behind the mask.
yes.
Understand how it's connected. And I love that, you said, even in doing these two, you're not through. God still has more inside of you.
I'm
He
not.
didn't stop. So
Mm.
just say, for those who counted you out because you were pregnant at 17, look at you now.
All right. I look absolutely. Look at me now. That's what I want to say. Look at me now. I should have been a statistic.
Mhm.
I should have been a statistic, but I never met a statistic with a doctorate degree. That's
Come
all I'm
on,
gonna say. I'm
come
gonna leave it.
on.
I'm gonna leave it right there. But
Drop the
what I
mic on.
also will say is I like what you said about collaboration. And if there are any women out there with the same type of ideas on the same wavelength that I'm on, we definitely need to connect. Drop me a message in my inbox on Facebook, Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn, all of the things actually. But yeah, we definitely need to hook up, do something because I'm all about collaboration. It is not a competition out here in these streets. We should all be collaborating because we all working for the same God, trying to obtain the same purpose. So
Exactly.
I love that. Yes.
Well, let's make it happen. Listen, she already told you how you can get in contact with her on Facebook, um, LinkedIn, YouTube. Give it to them one more time in case they missed that.
Okay. On Instagram, it's just my name, Nycorya Wilson. I promise you're not going to find another Nycorya. I haven't met another one yet in 47 years. So I promise if you type it in, it's me. Same thing on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as well as on LinkedIn.
So make sure y'all connect. Make sure you follow. If you're in the Nashville, Tennessee area, hook up, go to lunch, have some, meet up at Starbucks or somewhere, where you can sit down and have a conversation. Because I'm telling y'all, this is a season where powerful people need to connect. Because once you get together, it's a force to be reckoned with. You know,
Yes.
so
And
make
me
sure.
and Sparkle need to meet in person
Yeah,
because we're not
yeah.
that far away from each other.
Oh, for sure, Sparkle. Make sure y'all make that happen because I can just really see some great things happening. Because at the end of the day, um, God gives us all gifts, but
Absolutely.
not for us, it's for other
For other
people.
people.
So
Yeah.
when you can connect with somebody who can take your gift and expand it, it's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Embrace that. Embrace being able to connect with somebody who shares your vision and your passion and your purpose. Because what they say, if you want to do something, you go by yourself. But if you want to go further, go with somebody else, right?
Yes. 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 We all need a team.
I don't need a team. Sparkle said,
Um,
absolutely. I'm going to try to make it to your event. For
Yes, ma'am.
sure.
I'll
That'll
be
be
looking for you.
good. That'll be good. So, Nycorya, I know we are getting close to wrapping the time up.
Yeah.
In this space, when you talked about coming from behind the mask, you talked about the 60-day devotional, and spending time with God. What else do you want people to know uh, about this time and what God has imparted to you about just life? What is it that you want to share with people that can inspire them or encourage them to be better?
I would say I'm just going to end with what I always say. I think I said it at the beginning, and I'm going to say it at the end. Just be authentically who God created you to be. How can you do that? By being still and listening for his voice. What does the word say? He says to be still and know that I am God.
Mm.
And in that stillness is when you'll find your peace, you'll find your joy, you'll find love, you'll find your protection, you'll find your comfortable space. And in that moment, in that stillness, that's when you will hear him tell you that you are his child, that you are his daughter, that you are a queen, that you are royalty. Just be who he calls you to be.
That's it. That's all. Sometimes we don't recognize how powerful we are.
Amen.
This is the time for you to be your authentic self, and whatever God has given you, show up and show out with it.
Show up and show out. Absolutely. I love
Period. I love it. I love it. I love that you've been on here. I'm glad we had a chance to shine the spotlight. Y'all, please make
I
sure. How can they get
appreciate it.
tickets? How can they get tickets to the event?
So you can go to Eventbrite and type in the power behind the mask, and you will see the flyer pop up, and you just purchase tickets. Tickets are $25. Not much at all. $25 gets you into the event.
Listen, and from there, honey, just wait and watch how God blows on your life. Not only that, go to Amazon, search her name so that you can get the books. Put that into rotation so that every 60 days, you're getting something from God. You're spending time with Him because I'm telling y'all, as we move forward in life, it's always better when you get even closer to God. When you're so close to God that, like she said, you heard His voice clear as we're talking now. And
And
sometimes, we kind of think like, I don't know if that was God or not. Get to a place where you don't even have to guess,
you
where
don't
you
have
don't
to
even
think
have to
about
wonder.
it.
You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to think about it because you spend enough time to know that is God's voice. And I'm going to be obedient because obedience is better than sacrifice. And the fact that you were so obedient to do what He told you to do and not just do two, but to know that He's got other things in store for you coming up. That's a powerful thing. That's why it's power behind the mask.
Amen.
Amen. Listen, I'm so excited about all that He has for you and about what you got coming up next, but embrace where you are now so people can really tap in because I'm telling you, this event in April will be amazing. Again, April the 5th, correct? What time is it?
Yes. It starts at 2 p.m.
At 2 p.m.? Okay. So,
Registration,
yeah, honey.
you can start checking in at 1:30.
Oh, yes, honey. $25 at 2 p.m. Y'all better get all over that in the Nashville, Tennessee area. Plus, honey, what we just talking about, daylight savings time is coming up
All
next week.
right.
So that means that you got plenty of extra time. Listen, it's going to be
Plenty.
all up in the day. She said a couple of hours, you brunching, getting empowered, changing your life, having something that is going to be better for you. Sparkle said, where is it again?
The Chapman Room. I'll inbox you the info.
Yay. That's going to be all right. Look, hey, it's beautiful when God connects you together because you never know what will come from that. Out of
Absolutely.
this event will
Amen.
be birthed something even greater. So
Amen.
make sure you
Absolutely.
connect. And if you can't go, make sure you go and purchase the book. I'm telling y'all, get both of them because they're going to bless you because you will see yourself in one of those masks that you need to
Absolutely.
remove. That's
Absolutely.
it. So yes. So thank you again for being here, honey. Y'all
Absolutely.
already
Thank
see
you. I
beautiful
enjoyed it. I was
and
like, what am I going to talk about for an hour? But hey,
look, look, hey, it happens, girl. It happens. You know what I'm saying? We can get together, but you just start thinking like, oh, now once I say this and say that, girl, we're gonna still have about 45 minutes to go.
I'm telling
Look at that. Look at that. Listen, I'm excited about what's happening. So y'all make sure again, y'all connect with Dr. Nycorya Wilson. Follow her on all social media platforms so you know what she has going on. Because I'm telling y'all, this is the voice for the now and for the next. So make sure that y'all connect with her because I'm telling y'all, God got some amazing things in store for her. But until then, we're out of here. We will see you guys next time. Be blessed and let him shine a light on you, right? Let his light
you.
shine
Shine.
through you
Yes.
for sure. All right, y'all. Have a good one.